Hello everyone. Good evening. Sushmita, am I audible?
Yeah, yes, sir. You're audible. You can take over the class. Good evening.
Okay. Should I wait for 5 more minutes or not?
No, sir. We'll start for the day. We'll wait for 1 more minute and we'll start.
Yep. Okay. Let's wait for 5 more minutes. No problem. We'll start by 7:10. No problem.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you. Meanwhile, guys, if you have any questions, please you can continue asking the questions and you put it over in the chat. Okay.
Rajesh, sir, will start for the day. I hope my voice is audible.
Yeah, one second.
Rajesh sir, your voice is not audible. So if you're speaking like you're on mute, you're not able to listen
Yeah.
anything.
One second, Sushmita.
Okay, okay.
All right, everyone. So, can you start the recording, Shushmita, please? Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Salesforce again. Right. So this is the time for the development part. So whatever the things we learn it over there so far, we didn't learn anything over in the coding level and up, right? So when you go for more complexity over there in the Salesforce and all, so we'll go for programming level and up. Okay. So everyone thinks that programming is something like a not understandable, very difficult to learn something else, but that isn't actually. Okay. So before that, actually, okay, so let me show you one actually. So this pattern here, in any language, okay, I'll go from basics onwards. Later we'll go with the more concepts over there in the Salesforce, sorry, Apex and all. Okay, right. So basically, when it comes for programming language and all, I need to compare with the natural languages like Telugu, Tamil, Kannada, Malayalam, Hindi, Marathi, Gujarati, whatever the language you know it. Okay. The first part is that we start from the letters, kind of A, B, C, D's, E, something and everything and right in any language and so those are we'll call it as alphabets, right? With the help of alphabets only, first we'll go for the words creation. If I ask you something like how are like how are you? Those are the mess up with the combination of the letters only, right? But without knowing the letters and you can't frame these words and yes or no? So with the help of words only, sorry, with the help of letters, alphabets only, we're going to frame the words and okay. Now I'm very strong at alphabets, I'm very strong at the words and then what next? We need to frame the sentence, right? Kind of, how are you? I'm good. So you're framing a sentence for it. Happy birthday, happy world. So these are kind of a sentence we are framing it. With the help of what? With the help of words, we are doing that. If you don't know the words and all, you can't frame the sentence. I'm not going in native manner. If you know the words, you're going to frame the sentences. Am I clear? But between the words and sentence, you require to have this grammar. What is grammar? Grammar are the rules to be followed on the language. That's very important, right? I know the word called how. I know the word called are. I know the word called you. I know it with the help of words. I know it. I framed it. But to make a frame a sentence, you need to follow the grammar. So that's what rules. If I ask somebody called you or how, that is not an answer. That is uncertainty. Yes or no? So you're converting or you're messing the words to form a sentence. What do you require? You require to have a grammar. All right. Now I know the words. I'm going to form the sentence based upon the rules or then the language. That group of sentence, what you're going to do? Yes. How many people know about this paragraph writing under in our old days, in our childhood? Write a paragraph about your village, write a paragraph about an Indian nation, write about paragraph about the kind of a scientist, something, and you write something like 100 lines of it. What do you require to have it? You require to know the words, kind of a sentence, you need to follow the group, sorry, rules. Then only you're going to form the paragraph. This is what we have learned from our childhood till today also. We are following up the same thing. It might be any language, doesn't matter here. It might be any language. It might be Hindi, it might be Urdu, it might be Telugu, it might be Tamil, Malayalam, Kannada, doesn't matter here. Basically, this is what the pattern we have learned from our school days onwards. Perfectly. Perfectly. But currently, we have aged here to write a program here. To write a program here. Now I want to write a program in Salesforce. For that, what is required here? For that, what is required? As like in natural languages, we have words, we have sentences, we have a grammar, the rules to be followed, we have a paragraph. Likewise, in programming, it is a connected way here. It is a connected way here. Words are connected to the token. Like words, we have multiple things, right? We have nouns, verbs, adjectives, right? Likewise, even here in programming language, we have tokens. Same like words, like nouns, verbs, adjectives. We have tokens here. Am I clear? With the help of tokens only, you are going to frame the statements. Sentences are equivalent over there in programming language called statements. But to frame a statement, what is required? Same like a grammar. In programming language, we will call it a syntax here. So what is syntax? Same. What is grammar? Grammar are the rules to be followed to frame, to convert, or to by combining the words to frame the sentences, right? So that's what. Likewise, grouping the tokens to form a statement, we need to follow the rules over there in the programming language. That rules, we'll call it as syntax. That's it. And that group of statements, we will call it as program. Are we clear? So that's what. So group of combination of a group of sentences, it will form a paragraph, right? Group or combination or collection of statements will form a program. But to form a statement, you require to have the token. But what you require in middleware? In the middle one, you require to have the rules. That rules in the programming language, we will call it a syntax. Do you think this is only for applicable to Salesforce? No, it is not. All these basics, okay, for another 30 minutes, for another 30 minutes, right? 30 minutes or 45 minutes and all. So that's are applicable to these basics applicable to all the programming languages. It might be a Python, it might be a .NET, it might be a Java, it might be a JavaScript, doesn't matter. All these basics are common to every programming language. There also you can find out the syntax, tokens, statements, grammar, everything. So for a couple of minutes, we'll learn what is syntax, what is the definition of syntax, what is token, and what are the different types of tokens in programming language, what is statement and what are the different types of statements in programming language, and with the help of all of these three, how are you going to complete a program here? So that's what I aim. So as a developer, writing the program is our agenda. But as of now, I don't know how many people from the IT and non-IT actually, doesn't matter here. Okay. If you know it, little bit concentration. If it doesn't know it, just 100% concentrate here. So that's what very important here. I hope it is not a boring session to everyone actually. Learn it, learn it. So again, let me repeat it. So we have tokens in programming language, like words in programming language. You're going to frame the statement here. So we need to understand with the help of collection of these statements, you're going to form the program. So at this instant, we need to learn what is syntax, what is token, what is statement. Do you have any categories or different types of statements or tokens over there in the in the programming language or not? So that's what our agenda now actually. Okay. Now let me go to the next one. So this is for the meaning. Program, when you want to write a program here, you'll go with, let me zoom it, you'll be understanding this. So program is a set of statements here. Am I clear? Program is a set of statements. So what statement will do, which will understand by the machine here. So for example, if I ask any friend or family, if I ask how are you, if I'm getting the reply from the third person, which means that okay, whatever the information I passed it from my side, if he understood, I'll get a reply as a human. Okay. If I ask something like a you or how, if the other person doesn't understand about that, so definitely I won't get a reply. Are we clear? So sentences are equal to statement, right? So in that sense here, in that sense, so statement, whatever the statement we are writing over there in the machine, whatever the statements we are writing in the programming has to understand by the machine. Machine here, the meaning is the server of the programming language or the full organization one. So that's what the job of statement here. The statement is understand by the machine. Whatever you're writing, whatever the line of the statement you're writing in the programming, it's supposed to be understand by the machine. So that's what we'll call it a statement here. So to make understand the machine, we have different types of statements here. One is memory statement, input and output statement, arithmetic and logical statement, and control statement. I'm not going through everything and all here. Okay, I'm just giving the brief of it, outscaler of everything. And if time possible tomorrow, I'll frame it each and everything by the end of the day. Don't worry about that. So basically, what is the job of the statement? The statement will do kind of communication between the machine to the programmer. That's it. Whatever the programmer or developer writing a program in the machine or in anywhere, right? That should be understand by the server or machine. So that's what it is the meaning of statement here. Then what is token here? Token is equivalent to words in the natural language. Okay. So generally every word will have its own meaning. Yes or no? So that's what. So in dictionary, we have dictionary, Oxford dictionary and all. Every word will have a meaning for it and all. But some of the words you can't find it over there in the in the dictionary, like nouns, whatever the pronunciation we do in the daily. So likewise, token is something like a word. Token is something like a word, like nouns, verbs, everything and all. But every word have its own meaning, right? So that's what tokens hold here in the programming language. Token it should have the proper meaning for the programming here. So there are different types of tokens here: keywords, identifiers, operators, strings, literals, and everything and all. Very clear. So what is the meaning of keyword? Keyword is something like the meaning. Okay, the meaning of these words are predefined in the programming language. Like the words which are present in the Oxford Dictionary, can we change it? Can we change it? No, we can't. Why? Because the meaning of the words are predefined in the dictionary itself. The words which are present in the Oxford Dictionary, which is already predefined, and we are using it in our daily life. So that's what the meaning of keywords here. Are we clear? And what is the meaning of identifiers here? So identifier, kind of the words we are naturally using it. So that's what the meaning, which are created by the programmer or a developer. The meaning can change as per the usage. What about keywords? It's already having a predefined meaning in the programming, but you can't change the meaning of it. This is very important one. So there are some tokens present in the programming language which are already defined, which are already defined it. So we can, as a developer and as a programmer, you can't change the meaning of it. Even you can't use it. Other than that, you can't use it. But identifiers are something like you are going to define the word, your own words. Those are well called as identifiers, which are created by the programmer, and their meaning can change as per the usage here. So that's what keywords and identifiers. And operators. Operators means the symbols which have you used, kind of addition, plus symbol, minus symbol, hashtag, exclamatory mark, question mark, single quote, double quotes, slash, backslash, asterisk, all the things, kind of the special characters and everything which you are using in your keyboard in your laptop or a desktop under. Those we'll call it as symbols in programming language, but the keyword here, I'm sorry, the special word here will mention as operators. We are going to use, we are not going to use the word called symbols. We are going to use the word called operators. Okay. And the next one called strings. String means group of characters. Like I want to use a string. Okay, where is it? Okay, I want to use the word called. Just a minute. I want to use a word called hello world in my programming language. How can I use it? How can I use it? Got it? How can I use it? Yes, I can use with the help of hmm, right single quote in Salesforce. Hello world. These are all something like a group of characters, but when you want to use a group of characters, you should mention with the symbol or operator called single quote. This is single quotes. We are not using double quotes in Apex. We will use only single quotes here. So that's what strings means. Literals means fixed values, kind of constants here. Kind of standard temperature, standard room temperature, right? 24 degrees centigrade. Boiling temperature, 100 degrees centigrade. And the value of pi, right? 3.14. These are all constant values, right? Like week of the days. All these are comes under the part of fixed values here. Those all we'll call it as literals. Those we'll call it as literals. Am I clear? So, with the help of these tokens, you're going to form the statements. It might be a memory statement, it might be input-output statement, it might be arithmetic logical statement, it might be control statement, doesn't matter. But the what is the important point? To form a token, sorry, to form a statement with the help of token, what you required? You required to have the rules. That rules in programming language, we'll call it as syntax. We'll call it as syntax. What is syntax? These are the rules in the programming language using the tokens are merged to form a statement. So these are the first basic things you require it when you're writing for when you're writing a program. Okay, so quickly we'll see what is this memory statement, input and output statement, arithmetic logical statement, control statement, everything under. What are the different types of tokens we have? Sorry, keywords and identifiers, operator strings and literals and everything under here. So let me go back to our syllabus here. Okay. So those are the things in different naming convention we have provided here, everything under. You can go through it, but like you can find out what are the different data types we have here, everything and all. You can go through the theory, but I'm going with much more practical things and all. Okay, fine. So this is what, so program, with the help of program, you're going to form, sorry, with help of keywords to identify operator strings and literals and all. These are different types of tokens. With the help of different type of tokens, you're going to form the statement. It might be a memory statement, input statement, output statement, arithmetic and logical statement, control statement, doesn't have. But what is important? Syntax. We need to follow the syntax of it. And with the help of statements, the collection of statements, you're going to form the program here. So this is the first step of the learning stage of programming language. All right. Now, first we'll go with the memory statement. But before going to the memory statement, we'll learn the different types of or data types here. What is the meaning of data type? Even Even in Salesforce, while creating a field, what is the first step we'll get it? We'll get something like data type. Select the data type here. Likewise, when you want to store a memory, when you want to store a value in the memory, like the machine, so far we are using the word called machine. Okay, so first initially we'll use the word called machine only. Later we'll convert that word into some other technical thing. So machine. Why? Because machine is a familiar word. We know it from the childhood. Okay, so that's what. I want to store a value called Salesforce kind of group of characters. So this data is what type? It is a basically text only, right? It is a basically text only. Now I want to store another value called some number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Basically, what is this? It is a number. It is a number. Perfectly, this is a number. I want to store kind of a true or false values. So basically, this is a Boolean functionality, kind of. So okay, let me go with that. Okay, I think we have a checkbox over there we have checkbox while creating a field over the Salesforce. Am I right? We have created with the help of gender, right? Male, female, and others also, right? Yes, very good. But this is something like in programming, we don't have this text number and checkbox and all. Relevant to that, we have some data types here. Data type means what type of data you're going to suggest for the transaction over there in the programming. That's what the issue. So how are you going to figure it out in Salesforce, like in Apex here? Sorry, in a programming language, yes. So for that, in programming language, they provided, right, different types of data types. One is Boolean, date time, decimal, double, integer, long, string, and void. Other than that, we have some more complex data types and all. But as of now, we are going with the basics to the kind of a middleware and all. So let's understand that first clearly. Okay. So without understanding that, if I directly write in a coding and all, so definitely you won't understand. Let me make you understand the first thing. Okay. So when you want to store a data or when you want to perform a transaction for the data and all, first you need to understand the machine that whatever the data given by the customer or entered by the user and all, accordingly we need to define, okay, this is of text type, this is of number type, this is of checkbox type, this is of time type. So that's how we need to communicate with the machine. Whose job is this? Developer job. Developer job. I have a checkbox called male. I have the another checkbox called female. If I check this female checkbox here, what it means? I need to understand the machine that, okay, the user clicked on the female. Okay, so this is something like a, okay, so the customer is female. Okay, let's make it as true. If not clicked by the male here, okay, it is a false. So for that, there is a data type called Boolean. Got it? Very good. And we have a date picker, right? Date picker means it's kind of a calendar. If I click on here, I'll get a calendar to choose the year, month, and date. I want the same feature in the programming language. For that, I have a data type called date here. So what data type will do? It will support the year, month, and date, kind of a date of birth here. I've given an example also for that. Again, I want to, right? I want to, I have withdrawn the amount. Okay, let's say something like I have withdrawn the amount from the ATM machine, right? I'll receive a receipt from the ATM machine about the transaction number, account number, right? And the amount withdrawn and the balance of it and everything. But at the same time, you can find out at the top right corner or at the top left based upon the bank here, you can find out a stamp. This is we'll call it as time stamp. Okay. Time stamp. In government officials, you can find out. You can find out time stamp. Date with the stamp here. Okay, you can find out date with the time here. Kind of 1 o'clock, 22 o'clock, 24 o'clock, doesn't matter. But you can find out a date with the time here. That's what date time. The data type is date time, but there is no and here. For showing purpose, I have mentioned here. It is date time. It is date. There is no space. So decimal, if you want to include kind of a decimal values, up to 6 values, if you want to mention after the dot symbol, you'll use decimal. Double means after the dot. Okay, if you want to mention something like a 14 decimals and all. Kind of, if you go for stocks and all, you can find out this 14 decimal and 20 decimals and if you go to any kind of a gas stations and all, you can find out the cost of the gas. You can find out in decimals. So that's what the difference between decimal and double. Decimal up to 6 you can use it. Double means up to 14 you can use it here. So there is one more called integer. Integer means up to 8 digits. Kind of your salaries, a score present, a match score, cricket match score and all. You can go with the data type called integer and all. But if you want to go for more than 8 digit and we'll use the data type called long here. Kind of your hall ticket numbers, bank numbers, your phone numbers, everything comes under the part of long here. We have another data type called string, kind of group of characters. Like I want to go for something like if you enter the word called hello world with more spaces, something and all, but directly write it over there in the programming language, it will throw an error, right? So we need to include in the single quote. So that's what the data type called string here. We have the token called string also. Yes, but both are same. And another data type called void. So void, okay, let me mention here, but it is not data type from presently here. So nothing to represent here. Kind of vacuum, we have, the word called vacuum, right? So likewise, we have void, nothing to represent to the machine. So that's what void here. So these are the different data types we have it over there in the programming language here. So we learned so far what is program, what is statement, what is token, what are the different types of statements we have here, and what are the different types of tokens we have here in the programming language, and what is syntax. So we learned what are the different types of different data types supported by the Apex also. All right. Now first we'll go with the memory statement. So what is memory statement? When you want to store kind of double, like not only this allocate or store or load anyone, any value, you require this memory statement in programming language. If you know the memory statement, so which means that you're storing the memory or you're going to load the values or you're going to allocate the memory space in Salesforce. So what is the syntax of it? Memory statement is something. What is statement? Group of words by following the rules of the programming language. That's what syntax will call it as. So by following the syntax, how are you going to write a state sentence, or how are you going to write the statement here? So that is what we'll call it as memory statement. So what is memory statement is doing? It is going to store or save the memory, allocate the memory over there in the programming language. I want to store a value. So for that, I need to allocate the memory space. See, for example, if you're relocated to Hyderabad or Chennai or Bangalore or anywhere, so to stay somewhere, you require to have a house, right? Yes or no? That is what exactly called memory statement. Am I clear? So that's what. So memory statement is the one where the data can store or allocate the data. And what is syntax of it? To store a memory, yes, of course, right? Statement is the one which will understand by the machine, right? So how do you going to understand the machine? If a directory says something like a memory statement, okay, take the data, okay, store it, okay, enjoy it. No, that's not the true, right? So memory statement is the one where you're going to store the data with what help? Statement by default, by basic. What is the meaning? What is the definition of statement? You're going to allocate the memory space. Clear? Then how are you going to form the statement with the help of tokens? And everything is interlinked here. Kind of, I'm trying to connect all the dots here. Sorry, dots here. We know what is token. Okay, with the help of different tokens like the keywords, everything, identifiers, operators. So in that sense, what is the syntax for storing the memory or allocating the memory in the programming language? So that is what the syntax called data type followed by the variable name and semicolon. This is an example for it. Am I clear? All right. So this is the syntax we followed for storing a data or any value in Salesforce. But what data? It will accept only this data. Hmm, I'm sorry. Array data based upon this. Boolean, date, time, decimal, double, integer, long, string. We have some more, I think I have not mentioned over here. We have something like a data type called blob. Blob stands for binary large object. In your anywhere, it might be any application, yeah. You'll have something like an attachment of a big files or any file. You can upload it, you can transfer to your friends and family. And beyond that, as a developer, we use the data type called blob, binary large object. What's that? Binary large object. Okay, so these are the different data types we have here. That's very good. Okay, right. Okay, so for that, okay, so let me go with practical thing is that like I want to store a value. So we use the statement called memory statement. So let's go back to Salesforce first. Let's go back to Salesforce where we can write a program. We can write a program over there in Salesforce in multiple ways and all. There are different navigations we have here, but as of now, we have the tool called Developer Console. Developer Console is the IDE where we write our program, everything under. But I'm not writing any program under. There is another window called, oh, sorry. Okay, there is another window called Open Execute Anonymous window there. There we used to write our individual program under. Okay, now let me write something like, okay, let's say something like a string post name equals to Salesforce development, Salesforce development program by XLR. By XLR company. Let me put it like this. Or else let me do like this. Okay, just a minute. Like this. So if I write this, if I write this here, this is what here, this is a data type. This is a data type. What is this course name? This is a variable name. This is a variable name, but technically speaking, this variable name is an identifier. Identifier. And this data type is a keyword. It is a keyword. Why? Because string is a keyword, which means that the meaning of the string was already predefined in the programming language itself. We can't change it. We can't change it. If I try to change the spelling of it also, it will throw me an error. You can do that. It will throw me an error. Okay, so we can't change the meaning of the keywords. Whoever invented, they can have an access. We don't have it. Anything. Likewise, I can go with. Okay, let's go with integer salary post name with P. I'll go with the number semicolon. Why semicolon? Why? Because semicolon is nothing but the end of the programming for the line. End of the line for a programming line. Am I clear? So this is how we define the, I can call it as variables or data types, anything on those here. Okay. So that is how we use the memory statement storing the data under. If you got it. Now let's go with another slide, another memory statement. Okay, this is different. Okay, so basically these are operators, different operators we have here. So basically in programming language where there are three basic different types of operators. One is unary, binary, and ternary. Unary means that it works with only one value. Binary means works with two values. Ternary means works with three values. So that's what we'll call it as unary, binary, and ternary. Like for example, in our mathematics, if you want to calculate a factorial, 4 factorial or 5 factorial, something and all. So for calculating 5, we have the side called exclamatory mark, right? So by using that, so 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. That is what the unary operator. What about square root? For calculating square root, how many numbers you required? Only one number. So the symbol square root, exclamatory mark, we'll call it as unary operators. We'll call it as unit operators. So let's discuss more about these operators. Why? Because most of our works we use by using this operators only. So that's a reason. So what is binary operator? The values which deal with the operator which deals with the two values, we will call it as, we will take it as the operator called binary here. So binary means like I want to add two numbers. For addition, how many values you required? Two values only. For subtraction, how many values you required? Two values only. Am I right? So to add two numbers or to subtract or multiply or division anything else, you require to have two numbers. So when you want to deal two values, we will use the binary operator. We use the binary operator. Yes, now I want to use ternary operator, three values. I'll go with ternary operator. Got it? You'll be understanding this. Okay, so based upon this only, you'll have the different operators, categorized to different operators here. Okay, the first operator is assignment operator. Assignment operator, in the name you have something like assigning the value to the memory. So that is what the meaning of assignment operator. Assignment operator, nothing but assigning the value to the memory. So that is what we'll call it as assignment operator. It is indicated by the symbol called equal to. Equal to. For example, let us say something like, okay, let me go with more practical things. Okay, I have number 1 equals to 10. I have number 2. Okay, here I'll go with number 1 equal to 20. Generally, this is what we used to write in our mathematics with our pen and paper. Am I right? But here the issue is that, sorry, generally what will happen, whatever the value here, the equal to operator will have two sides. One is left hand side, that's what LHS. One is right hand side, that is RHS. So generally this equal to operator will do something like whatever the value there in the right hand side, it will go and take it and load it into the left hand side. Generally in the left hand side, we used to have the memory only. We used to have the memory. Okay, but technically we'll call it as a variable something and all, but basically as per the standards of it, it is a memory only. Okay, and whatever the value present in the right hand side in the second line here, if you want to load it in the left hand side, you will have it something like a memory only, that is. But generally, so this is what we used to do it in mathematics, but it will never happen in the programming here. If I write something like this here, I'll get an error here. If you want me to show, I'll show it. Okay, if I click on execute here, if I write like this, I'll get an error. See, unexpected token. Why? Because the machine is not understanding here. Whatever you have written here, it is not understandable here. So for that only we have here called assignment operator here. I hope it is very clear, right? So what is assignment operator doing? Whatever the value in the right hand side of the equal to operator, it will bring it and load it over there in the left hand side. You can clearly see an example. Integer score equal to 120 here. It is 120, it is going to store it in the memory in the left hand side. If a string, in the next example here, if a string student name, kind of course name, Salesforce here, what is in the right hand side? It is a string only. Whatever the data doesn't matter here. If you want to load it into the left hand side, you should use the assignment operator here. Let me show you practically here. First, let me go with a number. Okay. So I'm going with the first memory call. First, I need to create a memory first. Integer. Okay. Salary. That's what memory we have created. Okay, fine. Now I would like to load some value. Let us say the salary is something like 70,000. Semicolon. Why? Because semicolon is the end of the line for the program. Right? Okay. I'll use one more actually, which you won't understand now. You will be understanding this input and output statement and all. Okay, I'll use something like a system.debug. That is a debug statement in Salesforce here for checking the output of it. Okay. So where this value is loaded in the salary, right? Let me copy that variable name and load it. And if I execute here, see any error? Notice that. So this is a log file. You'll be understanding. But anyway, I'm showing the output as of now. See, 70,000. Am I clear? You want me to go with another example? I can go it, no problem. Okay, let me go this time string. String course name equals to Salesforce. Salesforce. You want to show the output? Okay, so let's go with system.debug. This is, we will call it as debug statement. Okay, where it is loaded into the variable name called course name. Let me copy that for time being and load it and execute. I'll take this time. I got a new log file, but I can see both outputs. See, 70,000 and Salesforce. So, what's your understanding point here? Whatever the value in the right hand side, it is going to load it into the left hand memory. Now, here the important point is that so the data should be based upon the data type. That's one very important point. If I declare the data type called integer in the right hand side, you should must be provide the integer type only. If you declare the string data type in the right hand side, you should mention only text only, like string of group of characters only. But as what machine will understand here, okay, so the execution comes here. Okay, Rajesh has meant the Rajesh has mentioned something like a memory, and the name of the memory is what is a variable name? That is salary. And again, the machine, okay, still it is equals to wonderful, wonderful. Okay, do you have right hand side value? Yes. Okay, let's load that value into the memory. That's it. This is what the machine will do. Again, it will come to the next line, fifth line here. Again, there is a memory here. Okay, let's allocate a memory. And what is the name of the memory? The name of the memory is going to be the variable name here. That is course name. That is course name. Again, the machine is checking. Okay, still there is equal to wonderful. Okay, is it a string type? Yes, it is a string type Salesforce. Okay, let's load that value into the memory called course name. This is what happening in the backend. This is what understanding by the machine. It's very easy to make understanding the machine handle, but unless until if you understand the basics of the programming language and the syntax of it, that's it. I hope so far so good, right? So that's what. Right. So let's go to the next one. Lex operator quickly. Arithmetic operator, kind of unary, like the numbers we have by default, we don't have, see, for example, for positive numbers handle, we won't mention something like a plus handle, right? By default, the machine will take is a positive symbol on. But if you want to really go with a negative handle, we should mention something like a minus handle. Yes or no? If you want, I can show it up again, no problem. Go to the debug only. See, there is a minus symbol here. So those all comes under the part of unary operators, like plus symbol, minus symbol for the values. And the arithmetic operator being have to be another one also called binary one here. Kind of additions, multiplication, subtraction, everything under. Let me go with that first actually for understanding. Let me show you the example. Let me delete. I don't want to delete also. Okay, so I'm going with integer number 1 equals to 10. I'll go with simple one. Okay. Again, I'm going to declare, okay, number 2, any value name, okay, it doesn't matter. I'm going 30. I want to add both. I want to add both. Can I write something like a result? Can I go with something like a result equals to number 1 plus number 2? Can I go with this? If I do this, I'll get an error. Why? I'll give you 1 minute. You can text me over there in the chat. If I go with execute highlighted, variable does not exist result. So that is what error message. What is the mistake? Can somebody tell me in the chat quickly? Just one minute only. Fast, fast, fast. If I click on execute highlighted, I'm getting the error code variable does not exist result here. What's an issue? Can somebody? So integer is initial value should be zero. No, Anajit. Okay, so initial value should not be zero, right? I have already created a variable. Someone has mentioned Samir. Okay, integer not mentions where I need to mention integer. Can you give a clarity about that? Result data type should be mentioned. That's very good. Very good. Anajit, very good. Purva, very good. Very good. Thank you. Thank you for the fast response. Thank you very much. Why? Because that's what I said, right? Even I click, okay. If I directly go with something like without, if I'm not mentioning something like a data type here, the memory here, where this result is going to store here, the right-hand side value, where it is going to store. I'm not, I'm not providing any kind of a memory, right? Yes or no? So we need to create a memory. I'm sorry, we need to allocate a memory, not creating. That's very good. Thank you very much for the fast response, everyone. Got it? So let me show you the output. So where it is located, where is it storing the result? Good, good. Thank you. Thank you, Samir. Okay. That's very good. If I go with execute highlighted, I'll get a new log file. You'll be understanding what is this log file meaning until, okay? See 40. I hope 10 plus 30 is going to be 41. That's fantastic. So likewise, you can try for the same thing instead of multiplication, sorry, addition, you can go with subtraction, multiplication, division, everything. You try it, okay? You can take a screenshot of it, or you can take a recording from the LMS, doesn't matter here. Now, we will go with the relational operators. Even this is also very important. So basically this relational operator, what is the output of this relational operator? It is a Boolean functionality, kind of a true and false, and true or false. We'll get the return value or the output, we'll get the true or false only. In terms of true or false only, we'll get it the output. Why? Because see, 10 greater than 20. 10 greater than 20. What is output we'll get it in terms of what? True? Either true or false one will get it. Will get any other things? No. Likewise, we have the relational operator, something like a greater than or equal to, less than or equal to, double equals to or not equals to. But this comparison is not possible in the programming language. 10 greater than 20 greater than 30 greater than 40 greater, no, it is not possible. Okay. This is not happen in the programming language. Only two values. Even this relation operators, you need to have only two values, kind of a binary values only. Got it? So 6 relational operators and are all binary in nature. So prepositions, that's what you might have heard about prepositions in the mathematics, right? Anyway, I'm not going back to the mathematics and okay. Right? Either okay, so the written value, either it will be a true or false or not. So okay, so greater than or equals to, less than or equal to, same as or not equal to. Let me show you once actually. I want to show you proper proper programming practically actually. Okay, let me copy this. Waste the time. Now I want to compare it. Okay, so let me go with something like directly I can go with system.debug. I'll go here. System.debug. Okay. number 1 greater than number 2, semicolon. What is output? We'll get it. We'll check it out. So 10 in the memory of number 1, we have 10. In the memory of number 2, we have 30. I'm going to check number 1 greater than number 2 here. Okay. So let me highlight this. Check the output. Go there. Go to the debug only. We got false. That's correct only, right? 10 greater than 30, that is false only. But if I go with something like a 10 less than 30, what is output will get it? Let me go for execute highlighted. I'm sorry. See, we got true. I want to check equality, whether both the values are equal or not, or same. Okay, equality or same. I want to check both the values are same or not. Same or not? No, it is not, right? We click on that. Let us see. See, we got false. I want to check both the values are not equal, not same. Not same means I'll go with not equals to. So both are not equal, right? So definitely we should get the true value. See, we got true. So this is how we use the relational operators on them. Right? We have logical operators like and or and all. Same like the operators and all. So, right? So I'll skip this actually. And we have increment operator and decrement operators. So what is the meaning of increment operator, decrement operator? Like for example, I see my date of birth is this year is something like a 35. Right? My date of birth is 35. And every year it will going to be increment by the 1 year only, right? Not for every time, right? So in that case here, in that case, I want to increase my date of birth automatically by 1 year. So I think we have created a formula also for that. How many people remember that? While dealing with the patient date of birth here, right? So we have created a formula also. So it will automatically increase the value by the 1. So for that, we use the right the operator called increment operator, and we have the another operator called decrement, that is decrease the value by 1, that is decrement operator. Right? So okay, so let me come back here. Let me create something like integer age equals to 10. Otherwise, I'll go with something like a 30. 30. If I go with something like age plus plus, what will happen? Let me show you. So system.debug, if I use the memory called age, the variable or memory, okay. So it's supposed to be increase the value by 1. Why? Because age plus plus here. So if I use age plus plus, what will happen? It will go with something like mathematically age plus 1. And that too, one thing, it is going to store it in the same memory itself. Let me clearly explain it. This is very important. See, for example, the execution comes to the line number 25. What's here? Yes, we have the memory called age, and again it is checking, okay, there is an equal to, okay, in the right hand side we have something like a 30 here. Okay, let's load that 30 into the left hand memory. Okay, fine, that's very good. 30. Fantastic, right? Good. So again, the execution comes to the next line called 26. Age plus plus. Oh, as it looks like something like increment operator being used here. So I need to increase the value. What is output of this? Age plus 1. What is the value present in age? 30 and plus 1. It's going to be 31. But how the process is going on? Is it running in the another memory? No, 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 no. It is running in the same memory itself. The execution happening in the same memory itself. It is not allocating, it is not taking the another memory for processing and all. It is taking only one memory itself. You can ask me a question. Sir, instead of this, can I directly write something like this? I'll do in a comment. Okay. Instead of this, can I write something like age equals to age plus one? Can I write like this, right? Why should I use something like age plus plus? Both are same only. But instead of this, in programming, we have the facility for increasing the value by one. So that is increment operator here. You can use this one also. This is what the difference between optimization here. Directly you can use that. It is taking kind of more execution time as compared to this. This is also very important. That's optimization. Best practice of Salesforce optimization also. These kind of things will come under the part of optimization. More kind of shortcuts to implement a program here or to develop a program here. Nothing wrong. If I use the same thing, nothing wrong. Both are same only. Are we clear? If you want, I can show that output also. Mm, let me comment this. Okay, let me remove this. No problem. You don't know what is the meaning of comment, right? Let me remove this and let me show it. Both will give you the same. See, 31 only. Am I clear? So that's what here. Instead of plus plus, if I go with something like a minus minus, what will happen? Age minus 1. It will decrease the value by 1 only. 1 only. Okay. Let me show you the output of it. See, 30 minus 1, you got 29. Earlier it was 31 for plus plus. This time 30 minus 1, we got 29. So this is how we use the increment operator, decrement operator. We have the another one called arithmetic assignment operator. In the name we have here, what are the arithmetic operators? Plus, minus, asterisk, multiplication, division. What is assignment operator? Equal to only. So plus equals to, minus equals to, asterisk equals to, slash equals to. So what will happen? See, for example, let me go back. For example, again, I'll go the same example itself, integer. Mm, integer salary equals to 100. I want to double the same. I want to double it. Double of how much? Let's say something like salary equals to salary, same salary plus 100 plus 10. That's it. Again, if you want to check the output, we use the debug statement. Again, where it is located in the memory called salary. So what will happen? Let me explain it. So when the execution comes here, 33 line here. So there is a memory being allocated. The name of the memory, it is going to be salary only. And what is the value loaded? 100. That's it. Execution comes to the same 34 only. It's been on the same memory itself. And for the same salary, what is the value present in salary? 100. And what is the value you're adding? It is 10. So what is the current value now? 110. Now we should get the 110. We should get the result as 110, whether we'll get it or not. See, we got it. Am I clear? But again, there is another operator called arithmetic assignment operator. We'll do the same performance. We'll do the same performance only. I'm not changing anything. I have just optimized the code. That's it. As of now, that is what optimization. Okay, there are much more there actually. That you'll understand later. Okay. See, I'm getting the same output only. 110, 110 only. So this is field quality. What is output will get it? It is allocating the same memory, the process and execution happening in the same memory itself and adding by the value. Why? Because plus equals to it. That is going to be if it is if it is multiplication, multiplication. Addition means addition. Subtraction means subtraction. Division means division. It's up it. So this is about arithmetic and assignment operator. So it will use only the own memory itself. So this is about arithmetic assignment operator. Simple things. I'm not getting much thing. Right? Special operators. These operators do not perform mathematical operations at all, but doesn't have any specific meaning in each programming language here. So comma is separator. Semicolon means end of the line here. Kind of delimiter we'll call it as. Right? Curly braces for grouping of the multiple elements under. Enclosure means if you want to pass any element kind of a method level, function level under, we use this enclosure and all. Like a square braces, we'll call it as index of it. When you want to fetch or when you want to connect to the any index of the memory, we will go with this. You will be understanding this. We are going to use all these things. And very important, dot is the member access of it. If I want to access any element in the programming, we use the operator called dot here. And we have a special operator called new that is dynamic memory allocation. Got it? So these are special operators. We have it in the FX programming language. And conditional operator, the same thing. We have something like an AND operator or operator, right? So likewise the same here. Okay. Right. So that's about the operators, whatever the operators we learned so far. Right. So we'll go to the next statement called input and output statement. So basically, in Salesforce, we don't have input and output statements. We don't have it. So if you want to have use the input, basically, what is the purpose of input and output statement? See, for example, I have a form. I have a form. You need to enter all your details like your student name, name of the student, right? Your roll number, and your date of birth. And when you click on submit, it's supposed to save the data over there in my software. And you have a text boxes over here. You try to enter that information. You will try to enter that information here. Now tell me one thing. You all guys are entering the information, right? So you guys are providing information. So that is what we'll call it as input. And when I view something like, if you click on something like a Saurav profile and all, I'll get all the details Saurav. If I click on something like a Divya and all, I'll get a Divya profile and all. Am I clear? If I click on Ankit and all, I'll get the Ankit details. So you are providing information that is inputs. And if you view it, that is an output according to the input. Whatever inputs you're providing, so based upon that only we'll get the output here. We'll get the output. But in Apex here, in programming language, in Apex programming language, by default, we don't have the input and output statements, but we can achieve through the Visual Force markup language like Visual Force, Lightning, Auto components, and LWC, Lightning Web components, and everything. And why? Because there we are creating a web page for the interaction of the user and all. So based upon your inputs, you will get the output. So that's but in programming language, if you want to test your code, whether what is the value so far, this is what we learned, right? So far. So what is the value present in this memory called salary? What is the value present in the age? If you want to debug your programming, you need to know this. This is what called system.debug. You will provide the content, like content means which variable or which memory location here. So generally, system administrator has to provide this actually, this access kind of a permissions. We learn it right in the administration, security administration. So generally, the system administrator had to provide to view the debug, and the system administrator has to provide the access. So that's what the truth here. So this is about input and output statement here. Again, the same thing. If you want to use multiple things and all, like if you can pass a string value at the same time, you can find out the content also both. Both also you can do that, right? Yes. The next statement called control statement. Let's go to the next one. Come on, everyone. We'll go to the next statement called control statement here. So what is control statement? So basically, whatever the program you have written, so far we have written the unannounced window here. How the structure of how the flow of execution happening here. So basically, you write 100 lines, 10 lines, 1 line, 2 line, doesn't matter. So the flow of execution will be happening from top to bottom only. It will go from top to bottom. So some of the program lines will go from bottom to top also. But I don't know about that actually. Right? So generally in Java, Python, .NET, right? So the execution happening in Salesforce, Apex and all. Execution happens in top to bottom, but some of the also will go from bottom to top also. But very rarely, not yeah, not nowadays. But in Apex programming language, the flow of execution goes from top to bottom. Clear? Okay, right. And then, okay, so there are different types of what do you call it? Control statements here. Simple conditions, like if you want to go for conditional based statements and all, we'll go with the if statements and all. Kind of iterative conditions like while, do, while, for each and all. Like I'll just give an example. So if statement means when you want to execute a set of statements based upon a condition and all. So for example, I have group of data. Let's say something like I have a group of employees with salary called something like a 1,000 rupees. Employee one. Okay. So I want to provide the hike of something like a 5%, which based on the condition called employee. So employee one, whoever the employee is present in the list, less than 1,000 or less than or equal to 1,000, provide a hike of 5%. So for that, we use the statement, we will go for the conditional statement. That is the name of it, but here we'll call it as if statements here. We'll call it as if statement here. Clear? Very good. Now, if you come to the iterative or condition statement under, so basically, same thing. I want to process, I have something like 1,000 employees, 1,000 employees. Same thing it is, okay, right? I want 2,000, I want to upgrade, I'm sorry, I'm going to upgrade their, the promotion name or name here. So for that, I need to iterate all the 1,000 employees here. So how are you going to iterate? That's what the meaning of iterate. Iterate means repeating the same. Each and every value present this bunch. Am I clear? See, how many people know about this mixie, grinders, right? So if you want to this is a silly example, okay? So don't laugh, okay? Right? So you say, I want to do something like a groundnut chutney, something under, right? So I poured something like thousands of grounds over there, groundnuts and all. So when I switch on the mixie over there, the grinder and all, it will iterate only one or whole 1,000. So that's what. Yeah. That's what. Repeating the same action for multiple times here until the work is done. Until the work is done. Am I clear? So for that, in programming, I'm just correcting with the normal words, natural words for understanding purpose. Okay. This is what very important in programming. Okay. It might be a silly example for understanding purpose. These are the things you need to understand here. Right? So for that, in programming, we use something like a while, do while, for each and all. And we have some more called jump statements here. Kind of go to, break, return, exception handling. Like for example, I want to transfer the control from one part of the program to the another part of the program, irrespective of the condition and all. We use with this jump statements and all. We use this jump statements and all. Like go to, break, return, exception handling function and all. We use all these things in if it's programming language. So whatever I'm teaching you, all this comes under the real-time one, the real-time basics of it under. When you want to become a good programmer, you need to understand all these things practically. Anyway, we are going to use it everything in our programming. So don't worry about that. Right? Fine. So this is about control statement. So whatever the things so far we learn it, we are going to write it as a functions, everything and all here. But anyway, I'm not discussing all these things, everything here actually. Right. So basically, I said right in the first day itself. So Apex, when you want to learn Apex and all, we need to learn the basics of the object-oriented programming and all actually. Basically, object-oriented programming language is a concept in a programming. That's it. Okay. It is not some other something related to that. Actually. Object-oriented programming is a concept. Okay. So, like object-oriented programming is a concept which follows the three concepts over here. So one will call it as encapsulation, another will call it as abstraction. We'll call it as abstraction. Third, we'll call it as and fourth one we'll call it as inheritance here. If any programming language follows all the four features of the object-oriented programming, then that programming will follow all these things. So Apex is a programming language which follows everything: encapsulation, abstraction, polymorphism, inheritance. So what is encapsulation? Binding of programming elements into a single unit. I can give you an example of it. I don't know whether I have mentioned the example or not actually. But anyway, I'll give you an example of it. Okay. Like basically, we have a mobile, right? We have mobile, all Android or iOS, anything, Mac, everything. So for every mobile, you'll have a touch screen, you'll have a camera, you'll have a what do you call fingerprint, sensors, and all. You have a volume up and down. You'll have a power button. You'll have a speaker. Yes or no? All these are differently connected or together connected. All are connected together. Each and everything will be. Why? Because when you switch on only, all these mechanisms automatically will work here. Yes or no? So I'm not saying all these are connected. All these are binded together. Binded together means work together by linking up each and everything and all. So together only we can able to use a mobile. Yes or no? If we call a mobile as an encapsulation, the elements like the peripherals, the devices present in the mobile are binded together. That's what we'll call it as encapsulation here. But how are you going to achieve this encapsulation in Salesforce? By using two keywords. One is class, another one is interface. One is class, another one is interface. Encapsulation is a feature in object-oriented programming. It is applicable to every programming language, like kind of Java, Python, .NET, right? But in an Apex, this encapsulation feature, we are going to work it as using the keyword called class and interface here. There is another keyword we used, we will call it as implements for this. Implements in Salesforce. We use the keyword called implements for the interface here. But anyway, so far we are not worried about that at this instant. Okay. So encapsulation we are going to achieve through the class and interface here. As class is a keyword here. So we have time, right? Yeah, we have much time. Just 10 more minutes. Okay. So basically, this encapsulation, we have some definitions for it here. So it is a blueprint of real world existence here. Like I have a mathematical calculation. Like I want to add some two numbers. So generally, manually, for example, I'm saying, okay, right? Let us say we'll take a pen and paper and we'll calculate 2 plus 2, any method, okay. But I want to implement in a programming for calculating two numbers and all. This is something like a real world existence. I'm converting that into a blueprint of it. Generally, what is a blueprint of it? A copy of it. in a programming. A copy of it, I'm going to make it in a program. With the help of programming, I'm going to make it. But how? By using the class. So that's what class is, a blueprint of real world existence. This is very important in the basics here. And class contains features and behaviors. That's okay. Let me ignore this as of now. You'll be understanding that actually while writing a program. I'm going to write it now actually. Yeah, right. And class consists of data members as well as the member methods. So data members means like we'll consider that variables and memories to be created. And if you want to load any values and all, we're going to create a data member and all. I repeat, data members are kind of a variables or memory locations or memory statements. And again, if you want to load any value, we can do that with the help of data members only. We can do that. And member methods are kind of a functions. Kind of functions. Clear? Kind of function. So what is function? Tomorrow you'll be understanding that actually. Yeah. Even today I'll complete. I try to complete actually. And again, class is a user-defined data type. We know data type, right? Like Boolean, integer, double, long, date time, void. Am I right? So likewise, class is also a data type only, but user-defined data type. We can use the keyword class as a data type also. That is what the meaning. So that is what user-defined data type is. Who are user? We are users for the developer. Developers are the users so far. There are different contexts for the users here. And very important, class is a keyword. What is the meaning of keyword? Keyword is the word which is already defined. The meaning of the word is already defined in the programming language. So class is a keyword. And all the data types we have mentioned, we have discussed, all are the keywords only. And abstraction. So what is the meaning of abstraction means? So for example, again, I'll go with the same example, the phone itself. It might be any phone and all. I can able to view the volume button, the power button, and the speaker of it, speaker outlet of it, not the exact speaker also. I can able to view the camera also, the back camera also I can view it. I can able to feel the screen touch screen also. But tell me one thing, these are the different devices, sorry, these are different peripherals you can view in the mobile. Okay. Now tell me about your RAM, ROM, processors, or all kind of all kind of the peripherals connectivity through the motherboard and all. Is it visible? It is not. Basically, it is not. Even in the nothing mobile also, it is not visible. Okay, right? Yes or no? That's the truth. So that's what visibility. For a mobile itself, some of the things they are providing visibility, and some of the devices are kind of entity elements under not providing the visibility. Why? Why? Because it is not required. If you require it, yes, open your mobile and do that. That's it. Yes or no? Even likewise in Salesforce, likewise in the programming language also, if you don't want to provide, that's what, if you want to provide the visibility, or if you don't want to provide the visibility or accessibility and all, yes, we have the another feature called abstraction here. So abstraction is kind of visibility, level of visibility. So there are 4 levels of visibility here. One is private, public, protected, and global here. That you'll understand it. That you'll understand it. Okay. So far this is what the theory I've covered. But before going to that I want to give you this function. Like function. Okay. So function basically, right? For the reusability purpose and all, when you want to use something like a more kind of work to be divided into multiple things and all, we use this function and all. But remember this function uh, uh, what do you call it? It's syntax and okay. So this is what the syntax of the function. Okay. So list and the first line is that list and sequence of input declarations separated by comma include. I'll write it down. Okay. Why I should read it to here? Let me go with practically. Okay. Fine. Now, how to create a class in Salesforce? Again, this time I'm not using any kind of things. Let me reload it. Right. So this is what. Let me show it once again. Let me go. What is it? Go back to Salesforce and let me go to the developer console. Just 10 more minutes, please. Right. So this is developer console window. If I click on this file here, let me zoom it. Okay. So you have a drop down button over there in the file, right? Just click on it. You'll have all these options. If I click on new here, I'm just bringing my cursor on this new. You can find out Apex class, triggers, visual force, pages, and everything else that we are going to cover it. Okay, tomorrow session. So if I click on class, let me show you once again. Click on file, bring your cursor on the new, and there is an Apex class here. Let me go with something like a hello world. I'll go with hello world. Enter it. So this is what the syntax of the class. So the syntax of the class is nothing but class name. Class is going to be the keyword. Hello world is going to be the class name. That is an identifier. Are we clear? This is a keyword. This is a keyword. And this is going to be the identifier. So what is the syntax of the class? Class followed by the class name. You create any class name, okay? It's up to you. Okay, let me go with something like a bank account. Enter. Enter it. See, class followed by the bank account, class name here. So what class consists of? Class consists of data members and member methods. So basically that data members provide you the feature of the class, features of the class. And those member methods provide you the behavioral or behavior of the class. But technically speaking, this data members, we're going to use the memory statements, and the behaviors, we're going to use the syntax called functions. Okay, I'll go with simple example, bank account class, like the same thing only. Okay, let me copy this. Right? So let us say generally the bank account will give you the features of bank, basically features of the class. Bank account means generally like if you go to the bank, what kind of details they'll ask you? They'll ask you your name. Okay. So name is something like a string only, right? So string. Okay. Like customer name. Let me go with customer name. Oh, customer. We'll have bank account number, kind of a, shall we go with long data type? Bank account number. Account number is something like more than 14 digits, right? So I'll go with the bank account number. So account number. And you'll have IFSC code, right? Kind of it is mess up with both alphanumeric values. So I'll go with the string itself. String IFSC code. Can I use something like underscores in a variable? Yes, I can do that. I can use for a variables and all, I can use the underscores also. Kind of branch name. Yes. Branch name. I want date of birth. Shall I go with date of birth or date of birth? These are all what? Data members of the class, kind of features it is provided with. Yes or no? So this is what. You take any example. I'll go with another class. Simple class. I'll go with simple example. Rectangle class. You check anything. So every class will have data members and member methods. Here for class for rectangle, general rectangle will have what? Length and breadth only. I'll go with integer length and integer breadth. Any class, you take any class. This is how we mention the data members. And how to compile it? Here the compilation is nothing but saving. Okay, save it. If you click on save, see for example, there is it is not you can find out asterisk, right? Which means that so what is the meaning of this asterisk mark over here, right? This means that there are two meanings for it. One meaning is that you have not saved the class or compiled. Save or compiled. Both are same only. Reason one. And the second reason is that you are facing, you have something like you have mistaken some errors. Some mistakes related to the syntax errors. What is the meaning of syntax? Kind of you have not followed the rules of the programming language. That's what errors here. So those are the two meanings here. Anyway, let me remove this now. Okay. So how to compile it? If you just click on save here, you can do that. See, it's now saved and compiled both together here. So this is how we create the class here. All right. So this is for today. And tomorrow we are going to deep dive into the more Apex topics and the kind of database statements and triggers and the visual force pages and everything under. But this is the basic you require to go for the Apex under. Okay, so still we have 5 more minutes. Please let me know if you have any questions. Oh, you got your attendance. So that is the thing. Any questions, please let me know. You have 3 more minutes or 5 more minutes. I can still date, no problem. Yes, tomorrow we are going to learn about kind of Apex collections, triggers, database statements, and visual force pages under. Is there no need to create a file in this? No, it is not required. Directly, this is going to be a file itself on its own card. So Salesforce Apex use Java in backend. So why do you require it? Mrs. Saurabh, why do you require it? Both Apex, I said, right? Apex and Java more or less same only, but syntaxes will be different. That's it. Why do you require the backend is Java or .NET something and all, okay? Learn the programming. That's the agenda. Get a job. Do your duties. That's a major thing. So we are not backend developers. We are all rounder. We are stack developers. You're going to design the page. You're writing a programming. You're providing security. You're performing administration. You're going to work as analyst. Everything. Why we require to develop backend and all? It's not required. But anyway, it is not Java at the back end. It is a framework. Okay, Saurabh? It is a framework. Different framework they have used, implemented it. Apex is a proprietary programming language. So it's different. It's not Java, it is it's not .NET, Python, Hadoop, something, data science, something under the bed. All right. Any more questions, please let me know. What's the difference between syntax of Apex and syntax of Java? You check it out. You check it out. What's the difference between that actually? If you're from the Java background, you can check it out. What is the difference between that? Okay, so more or less same only. Kind of some concepts and syntaxes are different. Most 90% of it is same only. 10% of the kind of concepts and syntaxes are different. That's it. Here we use the asynchronous. There also use the asynchronous, but the keywords are different over there. Got it, Raj? Good, good. All right, all right. So thank you very much. Thank you, Chandana. Over to you. It's 9 o'clock. I did 2 hours of time, I think.
Thank you, Rajesh.
Yep. So tomorrow we'll meet it, and tomorrow we'll have MCQs and all. Everyone, please. Okay. So most of the cases it will be covered up to till now only. That's it. Okay. So you prepare well, do your job, and do that. Okay. So tomorrow we have session and the last day, I hope. So please attend and everything. And Chandana, just drop the attendance sheet by 8:45 itself. Okay. It's better to
Yeah.
do that. Okay. Why? Because from
Uh,
8:15 onwards, they're asking attendance, attendance, attendance. Okay.
yeah. Okay.
Right, right, right. Thank you very much, everyone. Have a nice day and good night. And over to you.
Yeah. Thank you. So, students, I'm sending attendance link again in the chat box. If you missed out, please mark your attendance. And tomorrow is the last day for our program. Okay. And tomorrow, 1 hour, we have the content, and another 1 hour we have MCQ assessment. Okay. So 50 MCQ questions we have, and I'll give 30 to 40 minutes. So between that, you have to complete it. So any more questions, you can ask me here in the chat box. Ma'am, it's 12th day. Yeah, Purva, but as per our schedule, we have to complete by tomorrow. So we can't able to do that. Okay. What way to send the MCQ, ma'am? So I'll send the Google form. Okay, so there you have that MCQ questions. You have to mark the answers. Sudhir Rathod, please check it's working. We are on to answer. Ma'am, if you are not attending tomorrow, test means we will have certificate or not. Yeah, Sandhya, good question. So, assessment we are conducting only for your practice purpose. Okay. So for certificate, you required attendance. Okay. If you are attending assessment or not, it is not related to certificate. Okay. Are these video lifetime accessible through LMS? Abhishek, no, it is accessible only for 1 year. Okay. Ma'am, I want to submit it, but what is MCQ? MCQ is multiple choice and questions. When you provide the certificate. So, Divya, it will take 10 to 15 working days, okay, to receive your certificate. Sorry, Purva, we can't send in LMS. Sorry, we can't able to share your attendance percentage that you will get to know, right? Like how many days you mark your attendance. After 15 days, we will receive certificate. No, it's not like that. It's take 10 to 15 days. Like between that, you will receive. Okay. Yeah, Anju. You will receive your certificate to your email ID. Purva, it won't affect. Assessment only for your practice purpose, okay? But 60% attendance is mandatory, not 100%. Okay, hope I cleared everyone question. Tomorrow is the last day online lecture. Yes, correct. So tomorrow is the last day for our Salesforce developer program, and from 16th onwards, that Wednesday onwards, we are going to start another program. So tomorrow I will share that registration link. So please register for that. Okay. I don't think I have 60% attendance. Okay, fine. I hope I cleared everyone like questions. So yeah, thank you so much for joining. We'll meet on tomorrow.